Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time on Target Morning Brief. We're investing with a proud precision on a daily basis. Today, we're going to talk about one of the meme stocks, particularly AMC. What we have seen is obviously AMC as well as GameStop, Clover Health, Wendy's, BlackBerry, I believe, was another one. Several names have run higher, and now they're kind of coming back in. Clover Health down significantly. AMC is the one I'm going to talk to you about specifically today. And it's not right for most people to hop in and short a stock, but if that's something that you want to do, we're going to talk about it today and talk about, how to do it, what are the risks associated when shorting a stock, and we'll talk about the AMC apes, self-proclaimed name that they have out there, with all their diamond hands, and they're never selling. Well, when I show you this chart, I'm starting to think that the apes are starting to run out of money, is where we're at on the chart basis, and particularly right at the $39 level where it's at today. Just below that is if it fails there, i.e. the apes can't find enough money to hold the stock up at its current location, well, then it can simply free fall from there. So I will show you that on the chart. So, and then our question of the day will be, how to short. I'll talk about some of the mechanics of that. As far as our day trading stuff, we finally have some stuff in motion on day 2 of earnings. If you look in the room there, I have 6 longs that I kind of like. VLDR is probably the best, followed by BABA. Both of those have compelling stories. And then the short is AMC or SCR. AMC, again, you never know, right? Because meme stocks can bounce. But I do think that once it hits a certain level, and I think that's going to hit today, is the bottom's going to fall out on that thing. So anyhow, good day trading fodder that we have there. All right, if you're catching us on replay, make sure you check it. Make sure you subscribe, hit notifications bell. If you want to join us live, which you don't see, excuse me, is a chat and a Q&A window that are open for folks in the room to contact me and ask me questions, which I answer real time. With that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, here we are. Here's our lineup card for today. Make sure you have your chat window and your Q&A window set up appropriately. Standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education presentation. You have to do your own due diligence before acting upon anything you hear this morning. Full disclaimer information is available at OTOTnow.com. All right, welcome to Wednesday, July 14th. SAT scores out today if your child happens to take an SAT recently. So we're anxiously awaiting those scores to see kind of, how things are going to go for the college. Other than that, we're about halfway through July. July has been a pretty good month. We'll see if it continues. Chairman Powell was on the mic this morning early, talking about how even with inflation kind of showing its ugly head yesterday, that for the most part there's not going to be much change into the Fed's policy anytime soon, which is what I've been saying for probably longer than Chairman Powell has been saying it, is we're kind of stuck in this low interest rate environment for longer, if you will. All right, tactical objectives out there. Is it time to short AMC? Again, shorting is not right for everybody. This is one of these where you would use a paper trading account to prove that you know how to short and you understand it. But we do short in here on a daily basis in the short term for day trading. It's the same thing for a longer term, except the difference is you have to realize that if you hold a short position for the longer term, if you hold it overnight, you're going to start accruing interest charges you're technically borrowing the stock and selling it. So you're going to pay up to 5 to 7% annually to be able to on that position to do that. So it's not free. So that's why it's expensive to short, more so than it is to go long. But there's definitely times to do it, and we're going to talk about that today. All right, as far as the mechanics, that's the question of the day. As far as the long, short, open, short, long, take a look at the market review, come around to the headline review, see where the market is overall. I do think even though today looks like it's going to be a great day because Powell, good earnings this morning, and Powell said some very favorable things to keep the party going. So probably an up day, but there is going to be that day where they're going to sell off. So we'll take a look at the charts, and of course, Luckin was up this morning too. because I know you care. All right, long-term investments, AMC, GMC, Clover, these are all terrible long-term investments, i.e. meaning they are short potentials for you. So we'll get into short-term execution, execute the market open, then end up with our question of the day. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the TD Ameritrade ThinkPipes platform. Here's how I have things set up for day trading. If you want to follow along, I know some of you like to get a jump on this. VLDR has a sexy headline associated with it. So does BABA. Both of these are up at, let's see, VLDR is up 5%, BABA is up 4.5%. AMC was down earlier, so it's backed this out a little bit. So that gives you a little more flavor of the trajectory of the stock. So in a way, that's a good sign that it's backing up here. And then I'll show you on a different chart why I think it's going to turn around and go south. All right, looking at the bigger picture, here we are. Yeah, yesterday was kind of a flat day, if you will, but really we're on a several week move higher. So nothing really to be concerned about there. So here you go. You look at the, let's get into the 5-day. So here's our day, kind of sold off in the afternoon yesterday. Really no big deal. Ended up in the red and then powering higher this morning. So that's where we are with the overall market. Let's take a look at CNBC.com and we've refreshed the futures for you. All right, in the green across the board, you see tech's up over 0.5% this morning. Again, Apple is powering higher today, pretty significantly off an upgrade, an analyst call, a new product. I almost did the show on Apple today. I'll probably do the show on Apple tomorrow if nothing else trumps it. But I thought the AMC is exactly in the position to where it could fall basically off the planet from where it's at, from looking at the chart. All right, over in Europe, red across the board, only slightly though. Same thing with Asia, red across the board, so both in the red while the US is in the green, kind of interesting. Bonds below 1.4 there and holding. Oil been right around 75, seems to be stuck right at that area. Gold and silver up a little bit on inflation news, and then crypto bouncing a little bit. It's been really selling off for some time. All right, over the pre-market headlines. BlackRock CEO is Larry Fink. He's a pretty smart individual, so listen to when he's talking. So yeah, he's concerned about inflation, and people get worried about, is the market going to get hit? Well, so here's the issue. So if inflation happens, the Fed's probably going to raise rates. The raising of rates hits the market. As far as a pure inflation hedge, just holding individual stocks is a good inflation hedge. Companies inflate right along with inflation. And they pass it on to their customer through their products and services. So really not a bad place to be. And when you really look at the curve of when the Fed starts to increase rates, that's when there's actually a bump in the market. So you see a bump in the market up before the market starts selling off. And that's because a lot of things become more attractive. This week, there's been bank earnings all week, but banks with interest rates this low aren't really that appealing. I'm buying JP Morgan for folks. You could make an argument that Wells Fargo is back, even though I still think it's kind of universally hated for what it did. So wouldn't hop into it myself, but it's certainly the most undervalued bank, but all of them are pretty undervalued, as we talked about yesterday. All right. Amazon, Alphabet, Apple, Peloton, all those are going higher, and that's the call that was put out there. All right, let's see. Yeah, there's a downgrade with Peloton out there. I have it in the book because somebody wanted it, but I'm not an investor myself. I think it's too expensive. And you're right. I think people do like going to the gym. Okay, maybe not me so much, but I know other people do. All right, JP Morgan, Apple's jumping up this morning, says stock can jump 20% by end of the year. Easy. Largely, Apple hasn't participated in the big move up this year. So for those of us who have a lot of Apple, you really haven't seen that move until lately. Now we're seeing it, which is good. All right, here's Powell this morning on TV talking about an easy policy, long ways off. What does that mean? 2023, 2024, not this year, not next year, somewhere in the out years, and then there's an election out there, right? So all kinds of things. Before we're going to raise rates. We really are. We're still passing stimulus. There's another 3.5 trillion package coming out. Here it is. again, focused on several different things. But again, more spending is kind of the theme. And if we continue to spend, interest rates are going nowhere, right? Yeah, the thought of going to the gym, I like that, Apex. It's fun to think about and not do. More fun than doing, right? Wish I had the time to go every day. I do have the time, but I don't know. It seems like the time escapes before that gets up there for the priority. And yes, we have a stair stepper that we hang clothes on. Yeah, in our bedroom. Yeah, it's not a Peloton. That'd be nice. That'd be a nice clothes hanger, a nicer clothes hanger. But you're right. It's for us. It's not a stair stepper. It's one of those. It's a bike of some sort. It's got a fancy name. I'm blanking on it right now. All right. Bank of America shares fall this morning. BlackRock's down this morning as well, even though they beat earnings for the most part. They're selling off. Bank of America's down, if I didn't mention that. Both Delta and American Airlines are up on their earnings. I'm not a fan of the airlines and don't suggest it, but if you wanted to trade or something, short swing trade on an airline, now's the time, right? If you haven't traveled much, I've been on the road quite more than I wanted to, actually. But I bought these tickets back in the day. In other words, months ago, before the prices now. It's kind of ridiculous now. We already locked into a vacation in December, and I'm getting ready to schedule volleyball for next year in March, and kind of ridiculous compared to what it's been. So anyhow, airlines passing that right on to the consumer. All right, mortgage refinances. If you haven't done it, now is the time. You get yet another opportunity, like the 50th opportunity in a row. So go through that pain if you are bored and have nothing else to do, but want to reduce your payments. All right, let's see the vaccine stuff. Delta variant, that could get ugly. It's starting to creep up on the ugly scale. I'm going to California next week, so I'll be wearing a mask again everywhere I go, including to Disneyland for a couple days, so on the weekend. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm hoping the whole thing doesn't get canceled after with the increase in cases and the redoing the mask policy there in California. All right, that is it for the headlines today. Let's talk about AMC and why I think it's a beautiful short right here. So here's the chart. So we have a couple minutes to open to talk about this. So blah, 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 election, blah, gets a little good, runs up from near dead all the way up, touches 20, and then there's some congestion. Well, here's the real move, right? So it hangs out to that 5 to 10 price range for a while. And then in June, it starts picking up. And that's when Ape Nation, Ape Wives, Ladies of the Ape, there's all hashtags running rampant on Twitter about how, we're never selling, right? So we're buying this thing and it goes up to 60 or so, even touches 70 intraday. And there's the TikToks are pure gold as far as that one guy that's like, hey, walks into AMC. He's like, I'm a big deal around here. AMC hopped right on it. They issued a bunch of stock. Like the world doesn't have too many theaters anyway. And they started giving free popcorn away. Okay, that's, probably save you $7 or something. But, they started catering to this crowd and really solidifying the movement. Well, these things don't last forever. You know that. So it did last in here. This is it's going to 100 or 300 or 10 million. I don't know where these people think it's going based off of, losing money as much as it is. But, look at that. Earnings per share, minus $21. So if the share price is 39 and it's losing $21 per share, oopsies. Anyhow, here's where we are. Here's the previous resistance. And when you see us gap in the chart right here, here's kind of what you're looking for. That means there really weren't any buyers between 33 and 37. It kind of moved up. So really your majority of your buyers are at this 37 and above crowd. So if it goes down and hits that 37 level, that means everybody who said buy on this stock in the past month and a half is down money. And that's when people start to, the lettuce hands come out and people start to fold. So anyhow, that's why I like it here. We've got a few minutes to the open, so let me get set up for that. Then we'll talk more here in a second. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time On Target play of the day. Here's the market open on Wednesday, July 14th. We are open, 4 screens in front of you, 1 minute across the board, except for AMC's on a 5-minute chart. So let's get on the program here. All right, we have 2 longs in VLDR. I'll tell you the headline here in a second. BABA's a long, and then AMC is a short. So starting with VLDR, probably my favorite here. So let's make sure we don't miss the entry. 9798. Let's go. We got to cover to 969 if it holds. So 981. I'm going to crush myself with math this morning. 981 is a 12-cent stop. That's what I'm looking for, going higher in VLDR if it holds, if this low of the day holds. So I'm making a little mark for myself. 969, 981 is where we want to enter this if it goes higher. Okay. The VLDR story is NVIDIA. You may have noticed their stock going through the moon. Get ready to take this here at 981, 12-cent stop. VLDR is now included. It's there. We're in the trade. There it is. We're covering all the way down to 969. Here's your arrow to make sure you have it in the right direction. And we are in at 981 with the 12-cent stop. So pardon my math while I try to do it. That's 993 is the first R point. That puts us at 1005 for the second R point. Let's see what what we can get here. 1005. And then 1017 for our exit. So that's what we're looking for today. You can see where it was pre-market, and we'll get get back on the 1-minute chart, see if all that worked. It did work. How about that? So we've got those drawn in there, and we'll zoom into where it counts. So again, in the trade at 981. All right, Baba's selling off too hard to turn around and take. AMC 38 down there. That's a $1 move to the downside. I still think this goes lower here, but don't really have the entry you want. So anyhow, we're in the trade. This trade, I'm happy with it. So VLDR was brought into NVIDIA is doing a master-like study of monitoring traffic flow. So, and we're talking cars, right? Cars and intersections and things. And it's all in kind of preparation of laying the infrastructure for the autonomous car network. That again is the only reason why you would own Tesla stock, is because there's the autonomous vehicles that are running everywhere. And now not only are the vehicles, and VLDR is Velodyne LiDAR, they have a contract with Tesla to do the keeping the cars from hitting each other, right? From hitting each other and hitting other things. But that's from a car looking out perspective. NVIDIA's, from what I read on this quick article this morning, is trying to look at it from an infrastructure perspective of now there are also sensors on walls, buildings, lights, that sort of thing that are also going to assist this network. So it's more of the outside looking in, and those two combined are the big winner, right? The autonomous. I heard an interesting spiel the other day. Somebody's talking about the autonomous driving effort really kind of hangs on the ability to detect humans. It's one thing if we scratch some paint somewhere. That's not good, but it's no big deal, right? I mean, but if you have autonomous cars hitting people, obviously you can't have that, and the whole thing will die off. But right now, the cars can detect people. It just can't detect what they're going to do, and good luck, because nobody knows what people are going to do. But certainly, if you had more information from the system, you might be able to tell where this person, the car shows up and sees a person, doesn't know the history of how long they've been standing there. Are they, did they just run? Did they run for like the last 60 seconds into the frame? That would make you think, okay, they're probably going to dart across the road as soon as they deem it safe to do so. Things like that. So anyhow, that's what is being looked at from this system. It seems pretty good. People ask me every day about NVIDIA stock. Should we buy it before the split? I can't. I just can't. It is so high. I can't. Maybe you can, but I can't. It's gone way too far, and it's about to split, and it'll probably continue going higher and make me wish I had not been so stingy, but I'm just not going to pay the current price or the new split adjusted price either. All right, so we're back down to the entry point on this. I like this trade. It's just not going anywhere. Market's powering higher, but everything we have pulled up on the screen is just falling like a rock, right? This is kind of interesting if you're super aggressive today or bored. If this holds 38.30, well, it's not going to. Say if it held that range there, then it's a heck of a move short. But you can get in here wherever this peaks out. If you use probably a 30-cent stop, which is kind of tight on this backup bar, and then a 30-cent stop to the downside, and I think you're going to like that trade. So let's do that actually. So because I think this is a really good setup. So 38.65, 38.35, which we're at pretty much right now. There you go, 38.35 into the trade. This is a 30-cent stop. This is a short. So here's your down arrow. Okay. Whenever you see this big bar running up like this, that's a good sign. It's good doji. So we're in it for a 30-cent stop. So 38.05 is the next R, which we're already at. And then for some reason, I can't do math. So that's 25, 37.75 would be the second R, and 37.45 would be the exit, which, yeah, if it falls past, if it gets down to 2R, it's going to go straight to 3R. Anyhow, that's sort of the backup that you're looking for. When you start to see this, this is probably somebody covering a short all the way up here, and then once it starts back down, you tend to see it go. So we're into two trades. Both of those are looking fine. Market's rolling over a little bit after popping up to 0.5%. So both these trades looking strong here. All right, let's use the middle screen to look at Apple, which was up big earlier. Big, I say, okay, $1.50 is pretty big for Apple. So you can see where it was. It was up about 148 pre-market. Hasn't quite held that range. Let's look at Luckin Coffee, since it's been a favorite lately. Oh, down 30 cents. So well, I was pretty happy. I was actually up when this popped up this morning. I was like, ooh, today's the day, another 10% higher, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And then the last one is, I never did, the Alibaba headline is that Alibaba, here we go. It's going to go right down to the exit. So get ready, 37.40 is the exit. I'll draw it in here. But when things break through like that, it just continues to fall. You could kill it here if you wanted. I have every confidence that this is going to hit 37.40, and boom, there it does. So then, we're in this trade long over here with VLDR, but to recap AMC short, it was this bar where we took it, right? And it peaked out. We covered the high of that bar. We picked a 30-cent stop, which is a little tighter than normal, and then based our 1, 2, 3R from that, and then beautiful into the nice 3R trade there. You could hold some, I would say take the 3R and call it good, but yeah, this is unlikely to go higher, if at all, today. So here we are, we're still in this trade. So again, we risked 1R. We're down here at 969. If it hits 969, we're out. It did come down here and touch the low of the day, but that's why you cover below the low of the day. So we'll keep an eye on this trade, and eking down there, it's within 2 pennies of it, of knocking us out. But that's why you use the math that we use. You want to either make 3 or lose 1. So even if this trade does work against us and then hits that 969 level, we're still up 2R. So if you risk, $500 a day, you're up 1,000. So that's why I like the system. Okay, we'll come back to that, I promise. But let's zoom out to the real world, see what's going on. A couple names up 10%. All these are pretty much speculative names. Dig spec for oil. Nikola Baba up 2.5%. Oh, the collaboration with Tencent Holdings. So there was a PR release that those two are going to start talking to each other. And if that's the case, Baba had a nice jump yesterday, and that's just going to continue to go up. It held $200, and it'll, it was at 300 not too long ago. So I think it'll run right back up. So I'm a buyer of Baba here. All right, Mind Medicine, Apple, there's your 1.64 trade desk. Been up almost every day this week, it seems. Win getting some love. That's been a little bit of a problem. Again, we're in Win waiting for that the second quarter revenue number. We may even have to wait for the third quarter revenue number. You see gold up a little bit. All right, so several names up. Let's look at the downside. Empower Pharmaceuticals, AMC, BlackRock down off of earnings. That's probably just because it's been up so much. I mean, look at BlackRock. I got into this name around 500 and it's up at what, 920 now, 877. So I'm not concerned. Long-term buyer here. Roblox down, DD down, Luckin down, Neo down, FipShop down. So a lot of Chinese names. DraftKings is down. Gambling.com is IPOing here soon. So I think you're going to see a short-term hit to DraftKings. Nothing I'm actually worried about though. All right, let's check back on our trade. Did it hold? No, it did not hold. So we're busted out of that trade. So to recap both trades, we took this one first, 981 VLDR long. It teased us with going up and not, and it ended up busting out. So we're down 1R unit. And then in AMC, which is a short, we took it on this bar right here, green bar, covered the high of the day, waited for it to go down 33.35, 30 cents down to the 3R point. It's actually down 4, touched even 5R to the downside. So anyhow, good looking trade over here, more than makes up for the 1R that we lost over in this area. All right, let's go back to that AMC chart that I was talking about. Here it is again. You saw on the other chart, it hit 37. Well, 37 is right here, right? So that covers everybody who bought this thing in the past month and a half is now down money. So that's just not good. That thing can literally fall off back down all the way to 30. Not saying today, but in short order, if you will. I would be very surprised if it holds 35 here. I think it just continues just to sell off pretty hard. All right, last thing we're going to talk about, and we'll close out for the day, is how to short a stock. You have to borrow the stock. So you have to go through a brokerage that has it. If you're with TD Ameritrade, they don't have much. Schwab has more, but they're still not really trading platforms or investing platforms, right? And they're, at least Schwab is kind of designed for the million and up crowd, even though they allow other folks in, of course, but they're really designed for the larger accounts. If you go through like a Trade Station or Interactive Brokers or any of those other places that have trade in their name, they're more trading type platforms. So then those platforms are going to have all kinds of stocks. If you can't find it in Schwab, then you can turn around and find it in, with an Interactive Brokers or a Trade Station. Okay, so you borrow the stock in anticipation that the stock's going to drop in price. So you borrow the stock and you sell it. And then you have a big minus position in your portfolio. It has a minus there because you owe those shares back and you hope that the stock falls and then you buy it back cheaper. So it's everything that you're doing normally in reverse, except for you have to understand the risk. So when you buy, going back to buying a stock, if you buy a stock, Luckin Coffee today for $15 a share, and the worst that can happen is it goes to zero and you lose all your money, which is a big deal. If you had $15 to your name, you put it on some stupid individual stock, which is not good money management. I don't care what you think of the stock, but say you had 15 to your name and you lose it, you're out 15 bucks. Say you want to short, so you short Luckin. Okay, so you borrow the one share of Luckin and you sell it and you get $15. Well, that's a short position now. And now if the stock goes down, then you will make money. But if the stock goes up, if it goes to 30, you will have lost all your money. If it goes to 45, you will have lost two times your money. If it goes to 150, you lost 10 times your money. So that's the power of these short squeezes. And that's why the AMC apes and folks love squeezing the shorts, is because you can get into a tough position to where there's margin calls along the way, and you're just losing as the stock screams higher. So if you're in a short position and the apes or anybody else or whatever drives the position up, you have to buy the stock back. Well, If a stock is going up, that means there's a lot of buying going on anyway. So if you have to short cover, you literally have to start buying into a buying craze. So that's why these things can rip higher. So really know what you're doing. There's real world examples here, probably worth reading through that. This is written at a pretty understandable level. I'm not going to go through it here. But I do want to, so that's shorting. Don't do it unless you know what you're doing. Practice on paper first, but you can make a lot of money. I had one in 2020 that was the biggest trade I've ever had. I will just say that. All right, here we are. I just want to show you AMC again, continuing to fall. So it's really 4, 5, 6, 7 R type trade to the downside, and there's just really no hope for this. There just isn't. It's just going to continue to fall. So like I said, straight to 35 is my call. Check back later today, but that's what I'm calling. All right, good show, good trades, up a couple of R after the 2 trade, one good, one bad. And with that, we'll see you guys back tomorrow.